Hey everybody, happy weekend. It is Haja Scott with Pick Up the Mic podcast by Of Lace and Grace TV. And today I have a little snippet of a conversation with my bestie, Necole Caldwell. So guys, welcome her to the conversation and check out a little snippet of it. We are talking about today relationships, purposed progression.
But I feel like when you have a natural connection with somebody, you want to hang out with them all the time.
Yeah.
So if you are married and you're hanging out constantly with other people, that
says something.
That says that something is off in your marriage. Because like when people say when you marry somebody, you become one with them, and so you almost walk with them through the whole journey, and it's like how people say you feel what they feel sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start to lose that, and listen, it's happened to us before. We be like, why we not in sync?
But you recognize it.
Oh yeah,
and at least y'all try to pull back and be like, what's going on?
Yeah, we're not
instead of
sync.
Just going on with it, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, well, it is what it is,
But when you're young, though, you gotta think about it. Everybody's trying to figure out who they want to be and what they want to be.
Uh-huh.
And particularly for our black men, like a lot of them don't have good direction,
Mm-hmm.
so they don't know like what it means to be a good husband.
It's true.
They don't know what it means to be a good provider, and some of them do these things, but then there's the emotional side. So you have to have a balanced life, and some people just don't have it. They just. And he just, I guess...
And getting there. Because you don't just arrive. You're not just all of a sudden balanced.
Yeah.
I think it's part of the growing of relationships. And so, yeah, marriages, but we also talk about friendships and everything. It has to grow.
You have to be friends.
Because you're not going to just arrive at the place. Mm-hmm. You're not just going to be balanced. You're not just going to have a perfect relationship. You're not just going to have a perfect friendship. That's what I mean about you got to have some abrasion. You got to have some things that where you and your husband can stop and be like, something's off right now. Something's off. Like I'm feeling off. I'm feeling like, I don't know if it's underlined. Maybe it's a conversation we had the other day that I feel some type of way about. I didn't express this. Something is off right now. Right. Instead of just going with it and saying, again, it is what it is. But you take they're growing moments. They're moments so like that in the next time that something is going on, it's probably easier for y'all to be like, oh, wait, something is off or whatever. Maybe the first time it wasn't as easy. Maybe in the beginning of marriage, something was like that and have a conversation. But it's growing.
And plus when you first get married, it's giggles and milkshakes. You're all,
rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah, it's all happy and stuff. But then you have to settle in with life with somebody. Yeah. I think it has to be more intentional. So like I said, if you hanging out on Wednesday nights and Thursday nights and Friday nights, you're not connected. Listen, like they say, the devil is he's calculating. He waits. He got good patience. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing about him. So he waits, and he creates little opportunities to stir crap in your mind. And so that's what happens. It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go out Wednesday, and I'm gonna go out Thursday. And then I'm gonna go out next Wednesday.
And I got
in your head, you like, and then the devil's like, yeah, you really like being with your friends,
but you have a good time.
Yeah, have fun. Like, he's fine, he'll be fine. It's not a big deal. Like, and if he comes to you and says it's a big deal, then you need to be mad because you should be able to be who you want to be. And then that's what you put out. Yeah. And then even on the opposite end for the men too, it's like, you sitting up there trying to, shoot, who he hanging out with all the time. But the thing is like, if you guys create an opportunity where y'all can always be fun and talk about all the issues. And listen, I struggle with that too, because I'm like, wait a minute. Like, we need to talk about this. Even when I hear the devil coming in and he getting offensive, I be like, oh no, we still gonna talk about this, because we're not gonna just leave it there, because when we leave it there, it creates opportunities for other things to go. And it's like, how they say it's a small hole, it just gets bigger.
It's
and then
you
can't close it.
But in your mind, he got a foothold. That's what he wanted, right? The devil,
unrepairable.
Wanted a foothold, because all he needs is a little bit to get in your mind. All he needs is just a little bit. I just need a little seed, because you gonna take that seed and you gonna think on it, and you gonna think on it some more. You gonna think on it some more. His job is done.
Yeah, you gonna have a big old nasty
attitude, just
weeds everywhere. When you think, it just creates weeds. And listen, this is my second marriage, so I tell people all the time, you have to do things differently.
Yeah.
And you can't think you perfect. Like, because that's my other problem. I'm like, shit. I'm pretty much
I'm cool. Like I'm actually the one that's,
yeah.
like I can deal with
You have a problem with me.
Everybody loves me.
Yeah.
Like, no, everybody got their thing.
Yeah.
Everybody got their thing.
That's my hard thing to understand. You want to get like I did something to you.
But you know what? So it's kind of like what we were listening to earlier when we were talking about, like what is it called? Like self-awareness.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is we don't get self-awareness because we just know ourselves. Mm-hmm. No, it is that thing where God is putting a mirror in front of us, be like, did you hear what you just said? Sometimes when you get by yourself, you just said whatever, or you felt whatever, or you felt like
you got a bad attitude. You know what I'm saying?
You got a bad. I had a friend that told me that the other day. She was like, but it was really in love, but it was truth.
Yeah.
Because God had already said that, and I was dealing that day. I was in my emotions, and I was just like, I feel like this is wrong. I feel like I was done wrong. I feel like whatever. And so I was already feeling that. And she, I was talking to my friend, like we just sitting here talking, and we just talked about something. And she was like, I feel like I want to tell you. And we didn't have a deep conversation like me and you just having right now. It was probably just like a minute or two, And she was just like, I feel like your attitude, like your attitude, like the way you're looking at this, your perspective, it's causing your attitude right now.
Yeah.
And so, but that's a mirror. That's somebody holding a mirror up to you.
And people need to tell you sometimes.
But God does that too.
Pause.
Like I love you. I'm not gonna say this because I'm trying to hurt your feelings, because I'm trying to rag you down. I'm saying this because I see it.
Mm-hmm. You better do something about it.
And I feel like your attitude about this is gonna make you start thinking a certain way, and then it's gonna make you start acting that way. So like right now, let's squash it. Let's get that out the way.
It's gonna close doors for you.
We need friends like that, and we need that in our relationships. And I think we don't, in this round for me, like I don't want to be afraid of doing that. I don't want to be afraid of like, what, let's just keep the peace, or I don't want to be afraid of, this is, I had to deal with this before. Well, if you had to deal with this before, then that means it's something that's in you that needs to be dealt with, so that you don't keep on doing that. Because just because you changed partners and you're with somebody else now does not mean that that's not still an issue. That's a mirror saying, oh yeah, Haja, then deal with this, because that's not the other person, that's you. And then if we don't ever want to deal with it, or we want to look at it like it's somebody else, or like, offended, then how are we supposed to grow in this? How is the relationship supposed to grow?
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And I think, you're right, some friendships, some relationships have to be they have to be cut off. I mean, it's, you have to start walking in the light of what makes you happy. But it does impact a lot of things. I think when you get divorced, it changes your the way that you deal with people, because you got friends and like I know, at least for me, like it was like we have mutual family and mutual friends.
Yeah. Oh, that's
hard.
That's
how
hard.
do you
Oh, that was hard.
It's just hard because you're trying to figure out, like, should I still be friends with this person?
Who do you stick with and you continue to roll with?
Should I be calling this person grandma and saying happy birthday? I mean, it's just like, you don't really know where
no rules
to be, and so it's really hard. I know.
And to cut off completely, because sometimes when you continue to do all of that, you're never really going to cut off, because guess what? You never really moved on.
Right.
Physically, you did. But in your heart, in your emotions, you never really moved on. So you're not giving yourself a chance to heal. I feel like sometimes that separation too is needed, because that gives you a time to get your bearings, get back together. Like broken relationships, not just marriage, everything, like things that relationships you've had for a long time, it's different. They were part of your life. They were part of your structure.
I have a strange dynamic, because my ex-mother-in-law is still very close to me, and it was weird at first, because it was like, well, dang, what do I do? But like God he's such a good God that he, like, if things are supposed to be, he just makes it balanced. So like literally, like my husband and my current husband and my mother-in-law are like close.
That's so crazy.
Like she asks about him sometimes before she asks about me. She be making him food.
Wow.
And it's weird.
That's a relationship
But
that's
it's
supposed
fun.
to, but you know what? It's supposed to stay.
So I hope you enjoyed a little bit of our conversation today with Miss Necole Caldwell. We were talking about relationships, purpose, progression in relationships. Those relationships that are meant to stay. Some of them are meant to stay through seasons of our lives. Those marriages and purposed partnerships and things like that, friendships. But even those that are not slated to stay, those that maybe were created and designed for a specific season in our lives, seasons where we needed something or the other person needed, seasons of growing where there were things to help us grow past or into a certain thing. Situations and seasons of life where they were stepping stools. These relationships were stepping stools into the next, or we leveraged each other for a common purpose. And again, not to say some of these relationships are not purposed to stay around, but you gotta identify, you gotta see, and you'll be able to recognize which ones are there for the long haul. Also, we talked about balance in relationships. Those that are growing, growing in relationships, growing through hardships in relationships. Those of us that are on second-time marriages and second-time relationships, friendships, just really good nuggets that we and fun conversations. We had a fun conversation today, but really good nuggets, little things of wisdom, so you can see where you are in the conversation, see where God is holding that mirror up to your face and letting you know maybe this is an area that we need to talk about a little further, or an area where we need to heal so that you can move forward. So I am Haja Scott with OfLaceandGraceTV, and this is Pick Up the Mic podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, and Castbox. Also, we are on social media, on IG, Instagram, and also on YouTube and TikTok. So check us out, and we'll be back with another conversation for you soon. Talk to you later. Bye.